What is up, ladies and gents? Sorry, I had to put Maverick back down for his nap. He was kind of fussing a little bit. Just tried to wake up. He's been doing that a little bit lately, waking up a little bit too early from his naps. So I want him to sleep a little bit longer because he was fussy when he got up. And usually when he's fussy when he gets up, he hasn't had a long enough nap yet, and he went right back to sleep. Kind of figured as such. Um, but either way, guys. As you can see by the title of this video, call that the aha moment. I was cleaning my kitchen and doing a little bit of household cleaning this morning and watching some TEDx talks and stuff, and got to really digging into stuff about education, listening to TEDx talks about the education system in America, and then I started watching stuff about how rough social media really is for the user. Um, and that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. I know that it's a tough thing to talk about because most people think you're crazy when you start saying that social media is bad or it's not good for you, that it's addictive, that it's not good. So the TEDx talk I was watching was actually a college student who graduated. But he went to school at the same exact school as Mark Zuckerberg. It's actually one of his dormitory mates, Mark Zuckerberg was. And he realized something. He said, just to spite Mark, he said, I'm not gonna get on your social media Facebook thing or whatever it's called. Before it was social media, it was just Facebook, or it was considered a social media outlet. But is it an outlet? That's another question. Is social media an outlet or is it an inlet? What are you letting into your life? Or are you doing anything with your life besides looking at your phone? That's a tough one because I just spent all morning while I was cleaning and I didn't get everything done yet because I was too busy looking at this. And I didn't make my video yet this week. I haven't done any of the editing process yet. Saving it, procrastinating and saving it till Saturday to get one thing done. Procrastinating. Why? Why am I procrastinating? Because I might not be using Facebook or Instagram. I'm using YouTube. And when I say using, I'm referring to it as an addiction. Using YouTube. See, what happened is, guys, a couple days ago, the kids got sick. And I had medical excuses for my boss. Monday, they were still sick, so I called in an order for the doc and said, "Hey, is there any way we can get another, excuse for my worker or for my supervisor at my job?" He said, "Yeah." So I called my boss. I said, "Hey," I said, "Look, my kids are still sick. I apologize." And he said, "I have to let you go." So I lost my job. So ask me, what have I done in the last couple of days? Well, I purchased a car, which is a good thing. I mean, there was financial relief right now in my family, which is nice. It gives me time to decide what I'm going to do, what path I'm going to take. Am I going to go back to a 50-hour-a-week job where I'm miserable and I bust my butt for somebody who doesn't appreciate me, doesn't appreciate the fact that I have a family, and then you take care of my family, But what really happened in the last 4 days? I can tell you this: my house is a wreck. Still, there's still all kinds of stuff for me to clean. This is the real life me talking to you guys, not the fluffed up, highlighted version of myself. Now, I'm not going to do that to this channel forever. Hybrid BMX is not going to be a channel where I sit here and give you guys these epiphany moments anymore. I'm actually going to be building a new channel. I'm going to keep doing this one once a week. And the other channel will be a once a week channel as well. It'll be a more vlog type setup, but it's going to be a one video a week. And I'll explain that part to you guys. I'll segue into that here in a little bit. But I think the main point that I want to bring up to you guys is about what's happened to me in the last 4 days. In the last 4 days, I have gone for a job interview for a job that I said, it's security work, might be okay for me, but it's $9 an hour, so it's not great pay, and it's 40 hours a week, so it's full time, which is good, but it's not a lot of money. And I'm still working for somebody else. So do I work for myself? I also set up an interview for this evening, a phone conference for a online local business helping firm, is what I'll call it. Pretty much, it's a firm that helps you start your own business, helping other businesses get leads. Little local businesses get leads online, because we live in a technological world where people are spending more time online, and they're not spending as much time looking through the phone book. They go to Google instead. So businesses have to rank. But I'll get to you guys about that later, because I don't know financially if it's a decision that I can make right now. It's up in the air until 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm going to be sitting down with Katie and discussing that as a possible option. The nice thing about that is it keeps me at home, where I can be with the kids. I don't have to depend on a babysitter most of the time. Occasionally I'll need a babysitter to go out and talk to clients. But for the most part, I'll be able to stay at home and work from home, which will be very nice. That's another opportunity I'm looking at. So I've had these abilities to look at opportunities, but at the same time, I'm trying to not dive right into depression. It's very difficult, because in the last couple of months, I've had about 3 or 4 different jobs. And that's when I'm on my medication now. And it's not that the medication isn't doing its job. It's that I'm starting to hit the depression bottom, where I'm starting to go, okay, what does life look like for me? And more than just me, what does life look like for my family? How do I support my family besides working a menial job? And how do I show my kids that they don't need to live with mediocrity? How do we teach our children to not look at mediocrity and say, okay, well, that's okay. To be okay with mediocrity. To be okay with, oh, well, I'm able to raise my family and that's enough. Yet you don't see them enough. You don't spend enough time with your kids. You don't spend enough time with your wife. And then you wonder why your marriage fails in 10 years. Because you're both slaving away. And before you know it, you don't even know each other anymore. I don't want that to happen to Katie and I. And I don't think it will, ever. I hope it doesn't ever happen. I love my wife, and I love my kids, and I love my family, and I want it to stay whole. And that's why I'm trying to figure this stuff out. But it's difficult. It's very difficult, guys. We live in an age where we're so brutal to each other. We're so focused, central focused on what we want. When if we were to just step back, strip back what we really want, and see what we're looking at, and say, is this something that I need right now? Or is this something that I can live without? Because before you know it, it's surprising, it's so incredibly surprising how your mind changes. I was set when I was looking at cars, for instance. This is a grand example. There's a couple instances where Katie and I both had this epiphany. Where, like with the car, for instance, a great example with the car is like the aha moment. I'm looking, Caitlin gave me a budget. I won't tell you guys what the budget is, because I don't want my financials leaked out there. I don't think that's fair to her, and I don't think that's fair to our family, and you guys don't need to know our financial stuff. But she gave me a budget to work with. It was a shoestring budget. It was light. It's a very tight budget for the most part. And in that amount of money, it's very hard to find a good running car. Okay. And of course, my mind immediately goes to, you gave me this money to use, now I can buy whatever I want. And I started looking at wagons, because I figured, okay, for the YouTube channel, I'd like to have something that I can just throw the bike in the back of and be able to just go wherever I want to go. It's 4-cylinder, so it's good on gas, and I can go to different skate parks. And some of you guys have mentioned that in the videos too, that you'd like to see you know, skate parks and stuff like that. Go to different indoor skate parks and stuff and have me review them, which I would love to do. And I, if I figure out a way to do that, I will. But right now, financially, it's not a sound idea. And that's the same thing that happened with buying a wagon or buying an SUV. It just wasn't a sound idea. So I didn't settle. And that's the other thing you got to get into your head. It's really hard to reprogram yourself to think of your wants and meeting your needs. It's very hard to reprogram yourself and say, well, this is what I want, but this is what I need. So I got a four-door sedan. It's very old. It's a 98. And it's a luxury car, which could have been the worst idea ever if I bought a Cadillac. But I bought a Lexus. And a lot of people would say, well, aren't those just as bad? Really? This is what you do. This is why you got to do research when you buy things and really think about your purchasing process. Don't fall in love with the first thing you fall for. Because if you do, I called dealerships. I went around to all kinds of different lots. I fell in love with a lot of vehicles that I was like, oh, this would be perfect for what I'm looking for. But the deal fell out, or it wasn't the right amount of money, or they weren't willing to work with the price. And those were all things that were guiding me to the purchase decision that I made that is a really good decision. And I think that's what you have to do. You have to use deductive reasoning. I think we make purchases and do things in our lives all set on emotion. But the problem with emotion is that it doesn't have a good gauge on reality. Your emotions kind of just they're a tell-all, but at the same time, they don't tell you anything. A great example of this, Moana, in the movie Moana, the ocean. The ocean is crazy, it's wild, it just kind of does whatever it wants to do. It's fluid, okay, which is a great way to explain water. I think it's great, but emotionally it is too. It's all over the place. One minute it's a raging sea, and the next minute it's calm and easy, or sometimes it's a little choppy and exciting. But that's how if you focus on just your emotions, it seems to be the baseline for most people, is that, especially nowadays, it's the peaks, the valleys and peaks. People are going like a roller coaster. I know I do it. I do it. I have moments where, and I'm learning to control it. It's very difficult. But my dad put this point in my head a while ago. He said, Greg, the only person that you can control is yourself. So I wanted to explain the thumbnail on this video as well. That picture is a picture of Katie's Nana and Papa holding hands. They both aren't here anymore. But those people loved each other very much. And they were a shining example of what we should be as a society. And what I mean by that is I could go in, Katie's grandfather's nickname was Zeke. Anytime, we lived literally 3 houses down from them when I first got a place together. And I could walk in any day of the week, at any time, without even calling, knocking, whatever. Just walk in. And immediately, first thing I would hear, who's there? From Zeke. It's Greg. Hey, how you doing, kiddo? And we'd sit there and have in-depth, solid conversations sitting at the kitchen table. And I do this with my Nana, with my Nana. It's like the old folk got it. They were here before all the social media and all the remarah on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff. And they get it. They get it. They get what the real programming is up here, the one that God gave you if you believe in God or not. This is the way we're programmed as human beings. It's science, folks. Even if you don't believe in a God, you have to believe in science. It's realist. It's a realist society. If you don't believe in a God, then you believe in something. You believe in science. You believe in the sky. You believe that there's grass on the ground. Okay? So if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But then you have to believe in the science, which is that we're all wired similarly, which is that we are wired to communicate with each other. Now, whether that is you're an introvert and you don't communicate a whole ton, or you're an extrovert and you're crazy like me, where I will go up to a random person and start up a conversation. I can't help it. I could sit at a bus stop and start up a conversation with everybody in the bus stop. That's just my personality. That's who I am as a person. That's why I feel good on this channel doing this. And for me, it's more than just a dopamine hit. It's not just glorifying myself by posting these videos or trying to glorify you folks by posting these videos. No, this is me bringing reality of what I'm trying to do to fruition and showing you guys that via YouTube. But I don't want you guys to get, and this is why I'm only doing one video a week. Something else I want to get back to is let me finish up my notes about Katie's grandparents. The point I'm trying to make is that we need, as a society, we need to spend less time doing this, watching YouTube, looking at your Facebook feeds, looking at Instagram, looking at Snapchat. I'm not saying delete your account and fall off the face of the planet, because that's what a lot of people think happens, which is not true. You can still have a solid friend group and be able to network and do all those things. Prime example for this channel. I do plan on going to Woodward May 5th through the 8th for the adult Woodward camp. I'm not going just to ride and enjoy myself. I'm going to network. Because you can try to do as much networking as you want on this platform. If you're not actually physically seeing someone and talking to them, it is very, very difficult to form that bond and that trust that forms good partnerships as far as business is concerned, networking, and even solid good friendships. You can't do that over a phone. You can try the best you can. I learned this the hard way, and I got burned when I was a teenager. Here's a grand example. I got burned when I was a teenager. If this is what happens when separation happens. I don't know if any of you out there have ever had a long-distance relationship in your life, but I did when I was younger. And I no longer maintain an actual friendship with this person. They're just on my Facebook now. But I did have a girlfriend that was long distance. And we kept up with, letters and CDs and, then Facebook hit. And I'm not going to blame Facebook for ending the relationship, but I am going to blame the distance. See, when we create distance with each other, when there's this distance, when there's this void, where you don't get to actually physically see someone, intimate or not, okay? Intimacy is a broad brush term. Okay, I think a lot of people get it confused and think intimacy, they immediately think, doing the dirty. That's not what intimacy is. Intimacy is having a bond with someone, having a strong connection, a deep understanding connection with someone. And you can't form that intimacy without having physical interaction. And what I mean by physical interaction is literally you can be sitting at a table in a cafe having a conversation with a business partner. But for instance, the Wolves of Wall Street, that didn't happen over a telecom. Those kind of business opportunities don't happen from sitting behind a telephone. Rarely do they. It's a unicorn situation when that happens. But for the majority of the time, they have to meet the person and form an intimate bond with that person in some way, shape, or form. Another Disney movie that points this out great, and I love this. This is wonderful because eventually, sometimes you meet people where this happens. But if you watch Finding Dory, I mean, Maverick watches it all the time, so I see this. But psychologically, this is a really cool lesson. At one point, Marlin and Nemo are trying to get into the Marine Life Institute, and they're talking to the two sea lions, and the sea lions are trying to help them get into the institute because there's no way to get into the institute with the exception of getting over this massive wall. So they get a hold of this little character. Her name is Becky. She's a bird of some kind. I don't know what kind of, probably osprey or something. Who knows? But the sea lions explain to Marlin that she has to imprint with you. Here's an example of intimacy that's not intimacy. Okay. Becky, though not very bright as a bird, has to imprint with Marlin in order to help Marlin. But what ends up happening is there's a loyalty bond. As soon as Becky meets Marlin in person and he goes, "Ooroo, ooroo," and they connect, she sees him and they connect, she immediately tries to treat Marlin like her young. She puts him close to her chest like she would a baby bird, a chick, and she holds him close, forms an intimate bond. And then throughout the rest of the movie, Becky is this integral part of helping Marlin and Nemo get to Dory and helping Dory and them get all these fish back into the ocean. But that's beyond the point. The point I'm trying to make, sorry guys, I want to shut this because my furnace is loud. The point I'm really trying to make, I think, is that I don't want you guys to get stuck on this YouTube stuff. I'm not going to, I decided, no longer in my videos am I going to say like, share, subscribe. That's gone. Comment, yes. And here's why I want you guys to comment. Commenting is communicating. That's networking. But I don't want any more, I don't want likes on videos. I don't want, because if you have time to sit here and watch a 20-minute video and listen to me rant, you have time to write in the comment box below while you're watching the video what you think. You don't have to process, I don't want you to sit there, you don't have to pause the video. If it helps you to pause the video and write down your thoughts, then do that. Pause the video, write down your thoughts. So that, I mean, if it's an idea of, well, Greg, I think this would be great on your channel. Or I think that this about this, you know, or I think you're wrong about that. I have no problem with objection or debating. I want to socialize. We're a social network. What's the point of having a comment feed or a comment or a reply reel if you don't use it? There's no point to it. It's useless. I comment on all kinds of YouTube videos because that's how, and not because I want to do marketing. I do it because I look at the content and say, let's use objective thought. You know, let's the thoughts that are up here, somebody else might want to hear and they might not. But either way, I'm going to put it out here and see if somebody agrees with me. And if you have a like-minded thought process, then you've just made a new friend. You know, because then you're talking to people that have like-minded ideas and like-minded thoughts. And that might motivate somebody else to do something else. But the problem with our society now is we're just splatter this on a wall. This is my idea. I don't care what you think. This is only my opinion. Everybody's closed-minded and doesn't want to ever talk or debate. Healthy debating. I'm not talking about sitting there and slandering somebody for their thought processing. I'm sitting there talking about having good, solid, friendly conversation. Sometimes maybe a little bit more heated, but not sitting there digging at each other and beating each other up. Because that's not going to solve anything. Why do you think that Martin Luther King Jr. was such a powerhouse? It wasn't because he was beating up people in the streets, saying, "Oh, well, everybody should be equal." That doesn't work. And he understood that. He understood that only peace is going to solve the situation. So if we bring our ideas open-mindedly to a table and sit there and have a conversation, and then get to know those people that we're having the conversations with on an intimate level, our society and humanity gets better. But if we continue the consistent process of rinse and repeat and doing social media, which is truly addictive. They hired psychologists that engineer Facebook to be addictive. And not just Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of those. Why do you think, who would invest millions of dollars? Why do you think Facebook and all these companies are worth billions and millions and billions of dollars. It's a no-brainer, guys. It's a no-brainer. You don't even have to think about it because marketing. That's why. They know if the more people that they can get addicted to this program, the more people will be in front of their marketing, which they're packaging you guys into this. I've seen it. I've gone on webinars. I don't know if you guys have seen Alex Becker. You've had to have seen Alex Becker already, or any of these guys that do internet marketing. They all use Facebook ads, which is an algorithm that puts their products in front of your face, and you're already vulnerable because Facebook has already made you addicted to their product. So your brain is already vulnerable because you're not thinking that there's so much dopamine in your head from looking at Facebook that you're not using your critical thinking. You're only thinking with your emotions. And so you purchase stuff you don't even need. How many of you have done that? Purchase something that you don't even need. You go on Facebook and you see an ad and you're like, oh, that's really cool. Marketplace does it to me all the time. I go on Facebook Marketplace, hit Marketplace, and I'm scrolling through and I'm like, oh, look, there's an Edelman jersey. Patriots Edelman jersey. Would I love that Edelman? Of course I would. $50. It's a great deal. Do I need it? No. I want it. But I was this close to purchasing it before I turned around and said, it's not what I need. What I really need is a nice gimbal for my phone so I can make better videos, better content. So there's decisions that you have to make that are outside of the realm of social media. So when you get to a situation on social media where you're going to make a purchase, where you're going to do something, use your brain. Don't let those dopamine hits hit you and say, oh, I got to get this right now. No. Take a second. Think objectively. Is this something that I need? Is this something that I want? Hell, you might not even want to sit here and watch my videos. Really. You might not. You might not want to sit here and watch me babble on about how I think social media is not the best thing for you. It's not healthy. It's not going to help you do anything. One of the other thoughts I had, you don't have to watch this. You don't. Shut it off. Seriously. You don't want to watch me talk more about this? Then shut it off. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Think about how many subscribers I have. I'm excited that new subscribers come along. Don't get me wrong. But does it affect my personal life? Whether someone likes my videos, comments that I'm an asshole, or whatever else you guys might want to say about me, it doesn't affect me. Here's why. I don't live my life by my emotions. I don't let emotions control my life. Because I understand that there's more important things to life. The only people that matter are the people that I'm intimate with. And those people are having objections to what I'm doing, then I'm probably doing something wrong. Other than that, everything else is just garbage. It doesn't mean anything. And that's what people get tangled up on all day long. Facebook destroys people's self-esteem. It destroys their self-confidence. It ruins their lives. And they don't even notice that it's happening. Because instead of taking up action, they're so caught up in the addictive realm of social media that they just keep on doing social media instead. And before they know it, they're full of anxiety, full of depression, full of themselves. Because they're all trying to create this perfect little boxed image of ourselves. Facebook asks you what idea you have. It should ask you what idea you have for the day. What problem are you trying to solve? What avenue are you trying to take? And it should take the algorithm and put it toward helping you. Not toward feeding you all kinds of stuff that you don't need. Negative attitudes, racism, classism, sexism. It is a social nightmare. Ethically, it is a social nightmare in this country now because of this. And not just this country, but the world. Few countries are actually implementing bans or they're implementing blocks. Whereas Americans, we're all, we got to be free to do whatever we want. Yes, I agree. We do. But then as a society, we need to agree what is morally and ethically correct and what is just straight up wrong. Because there's a lot of wrong going on right now and a lot of no one solving it and a lot of people with money being the main issue, being the culprit, being the bad guy. You can sit there and point it at whatever politician or rich person that you want to blame for all the problems of our world, but they aren't the ones that started this. The ones that started it was a weak-minded society. You and me. We allowed this to happen. We allowed social media to take over our lives. We decided that we needed smartphones. We decided that we needed more internet usage. We decided we needed faster internet speeds. We decided everything. Because all a business is a person that sees a need and fulfills it. That's all a business is. So social media is a business. They're in the business of making money. And you guys are making them droves of money because you decided that you want stuff pushed in your face all day long. And you want to be addicted to something. I've done it. You've done it. We are all guilty. So when do we stop? Like I said, guys, you will get a video this week. Well, tomorrow you'll get a video. And then I will be launching a trailer probably Monday or Tuesday next week for the new channel. So if you are watching this, I guess I'll say thank you for watching. And maybe we'll catch you next time. Maybe not. Either way, I hope you live your lives well. I hope you take care of your families. I hope you live with peace, love, and rock. And I hope you all have a wonderful St. Paddy's Day. Please be safe. If you're drinking, make sure you have a designated driver. If you're out with your family, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled, and watch for other people that might be a little bit inebriated or crazy. But other than that, folks, I hope you have a great St. Paddy's Day weekend, and we will catch you next